rainbow flag, you're a high flying flag. Heaven gives me you wave, oh yeah. You're the anthem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave.
Gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it gives me goosebumps, too. I think that's the old Hives. It's one of those two things. I'm playing. Don't look all hurt. He should have seen this.
Playing with my music.
The smile just left his face. He was smiling. He's like, I got goosebumps. I said, I have hives. And the smile turned upside down. We're talking with Sam today. Are you still playing music, man?
Can you come over here and take that knife out of my
Are
bag?
you still playing music?
Yeah, that's why I asked you about the nice Sam.
Yeah, well, tell me about the nice Sam.
Yeah, I've been, and I'm not bragging about it. I enjoy doing it as much as the audience, but I've been doing concerts for the seniors and the veterans.
Cool.
For
very cool.
For 10 years. I do about. As a matter of fact, I have one this afternoon, and
really,
and it's all for charity, all for free, just fun. A good entertainment thing, a couple of bad jokes like the one I told earlier.
I like the one you told earlier. I'll be honest. I like the one you told earlier.
And just lots of good music for the older folks, I call them. Some of them are even older than me.
How'd you get into that?
My dad went downhill. I started to take my guitar to play down in Carson City to the place where he was resting, and I would take it in and I'd play in his room, and then they asked me to go out and play in the lobby
for the other folks,
and so for the other folks, and then I guess the word just kind of got around, and so places called me up, and I'd
that's one of those Sam Dehne tidbits that nobody knows. I like that, man. That is the nice Sam. Don't let that get out. You're gonna ruin everything if that gets out and people find out you're a nice guy.
And despite the hives, I'm as good a musician as there is around, entertainer as there is around.
Okay, maybe not musician, but entertainer.
Right, my guitar's average, but
okay.
I have probably 1,400 songs in my repertoire anytime.
Hello, Mr. Karaoke. Wow. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, karaoke.
That's a lot more than most people have. No question about that. Sam, let's talk about your runs for office. You've run for mayor 3 times?
2.5.
How is 1.5?
Well, the half came about was when I put my name on the ballot, and then my son, the Chad. The main thing he had going against him is he had the same last name as me.
That was kind of why I was going there. Do you think that because your son, again, a decorated war hero, Marine, is that correct?
Marine, yeah,
a Marine. You were in the Air Force. Your son was in the Marines. Do you think, and I mean this again with all respect, because you just said it, do you think the last name and the fact that you are so active and they don't like you played into the fact that he didn't do well?
Right. When the vote-stealing computer looks at the names on there, they see Dehne, and they take 1 vote for him, 3 of his votes for them, 1 vote for Sam, 2 of his votes for them, and on and on, the opponents.
Okay, let's talk about
that's the way the computer's set up. I don't know.
Let's talk about the vote stealing, because this is one of those things where you could send me either way. You could lose me here, or you could gain a real fan here. Okay, because seriously, Sam, listen, I think you and I know. I can be honest with you, and you're not going to go, oh, screw Panama. Okay, I'm going to tell you what I think.
If I had to bet my $100 bill, I bet I'm going to lose you.
Okay, here's my question though. When you say the vote stealers, people think. That's again, and we're back to the word, but that's crazy. You know, we all believe, okay, and again, I'm using air quotes now, that we go into the booth, into the polling place, and we put our vote in, and our vote goes where it's supposed to. Now, I just read an article that made me think of you the other day, where it said $25. They found some guys able to hack voting machines. For the mere cost of $25. You and I talked about before we came on the air today. You said you don't even need the $25. You just need somebody working in the poll. What leads you to believe, A, there are vote stealers, and B, can you prove it?
Well, first of all, it's the most difficult. First, it's the most treacherous thing that can be done.
Agreed.
There's nothing worse than stealing votes, because that's where everything in America emanates from, honest vote. And back in the day, they did it on paper if it was Reno, 400 different precincts where you go with a piece of paper, you poke the holes, they add them up right there at the precinct, they put them on the wall.
See, now nobody can count to 400.
Huh?
Now nobody can count that high. But go on, they put them up on the wall?
And they put them up there all throughout all these precincts, so there could be a little cheating there, but you can't cheat at the headquarters because they've all been tabulated right there at each one of the precincts. The way we vote now is you just push that button, it all goes down to the computer
It doesn't go into a card there at the machine immediately. It doesn't go to Central.
They say it goes into a card, but
why don't you go be a poll watcher? Have you tried that?
Oh no, because it's deeper down than the polls. The numbers are reflecting it. Some things you don't even need to do. You look at the numbers of the last quote,
and I have questions with you.
Election I was in, and I just see it. It's like everybody. Well, the numbers prove it.
Okay,
by this.
Let's talk about the numbers real quick. Your website. It's renocitizen.com, by the way. Anybody wants to go read what Sam writes about, he's got some interesting points up there. It says, the cowards rigged Sam's vote count again. Very queer vote stealing. Vote stealing perpetrated run of our eyes in each of 16 different and far-flung counties. Sam got precisely 10% of the vote in every single county. Impossible. Except, Sam, you didn't get 10% in every single county.
Did I say precisely?
You said precisely, my friend.
I'm going to take it off.
Did I just pick it apart?
Yeah, well, no, I should not have said
okay,
precisely.
thank you. And see, that's what threw me off.
Right.
That's what threw me off because I want to read this. I want to understand it because in Carson you got 8, in Churchill 9, in Clark 10, Douglas 11, Elko 8, Esmeralda and Eureka not available, Humboldt 12, Lander not available, Lincoln 9, Lyon 10, Mineral 9, Nye 15%. Pershing not available. Story 12%. Washoe 10%. White Pine 12%. Granted, a lot of 10%, but you didn't get precisely 10% of the vote in each county. Agreed?
No, I'm busted. Get the handcuffs out. Give me the handcuffs. Yeah.
I see. I love you for that.
I should not have said precisely. I agree because it wasn't precise.
Okay, and that's what threw me off.
It was within 10% by 1 or 2% on either side. 10%, 9%,
agreed.
11%, 12%, right across the board. And my two opponents, virtually each got 45%. And the point is, this was in 16 far-flung counties. None of us went to those counties. They didn't know me from a hill of beans. They didn't know my opponents from a hill of beans any more than me. And I was number one on the top on the ballot. And usually the top ballot, with nobody else being known, gets the most.
Sure, you're the first one, yeah.
But I've got several of my Air Force Academy classmates, a couple of them who are Rhodes Scholars. They looked at this. I sent it off to them, and they said the chances of getting those kind of numbers, and if you look on the website, it's right there off the thing, and it isn't precisely 10%, but it's basically 10%. I should say basically. At any rate, they said the chances of that happening in 16 far-flung counties with just names thrown out there, no billboards, no campaigning, with just names thrown out there, the chances you'd have a better chance of hitting the same number on the roulette wheel 5 times in a row than something like that happen.
Will you continue to run for offices?
Yeah.
Or have you had it?
One more little aspect of it.
Yes,
as far as Washoe County, I got about 3,000 votes. And the year before, when I ran for city council, I got 18,000 votes. And that was even before they stopped counting my votes.
So, and this was statewide. That was citywide, and you got 4 times as much or whatever locally than you did statewide.
Well, and Washow's by far the biggest part of it anyway.
Will you run again for any office?
I'm like that Christie character.
I'm out.
I'd rather commit suicide first or something like that. I don't know what he said.
So no, you had it?
I don't know. It's,
listen, there's a bunch of council members terming out here pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there is, if for no other reason, there will be forced turnover. Okay, because we get to a situation, you'll acknowledge this, that we get to a situation, by the way, I like Dave Ozzie, I like Jessica Sproul, I like the city council. They've all been very kind to me.
I won't hold that against you.
Okay, fine, but they're to the end of their term. So now it's going to be a new guy or a new woman, but it's going to be somebody new. So why not you?
Well, because my son, the Chad Dehne, who is the Marine Corps veteran.
It's like a cool fraternity name, the Cadillac.
He's almost as talented as his father, but he's not nearly as humble. No, I said that backwards.
Yeah, I was trying to do the math on that there, Sammy.
Anyway, he's going to run for city council in
he will.
Ward 2. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And what kind of, as a smaller candidate like that, although I know when we talk about city council, we're not talking about statewide races and big, deep pockets, but what kind of, and short of the vote stealers, what kind of challenges does that present? Will he run as a party candidate or as a third-party candidate? Do you know? I don't expect you to speak for him. I'll get him in here one of these days.
Well, no. City council is
nonpartisan.
Yeah.
Okay, so how as a I hate to use the word outsider, but as a not politico, how tough is it to run from that position?
Oh, obviously it's tough. It's especially with the vote stealing. But it's very.
I knew you couldn't stay away from it.
It's tough because I call American voting, not counting the vote stealing, just the regular old voting. I call it billboarditis. Billboarditis. People go in there and all they remember is the name on the billboard.
I don't disagree.
The billboard costs a fortune, and so the more people who can buy you off, then you should vote.
Is that a way you would campaign or advise your son to campaign?
Well, there's no way to campaign. The media, he ran for mayor as the challenger last time, and the media never contacted him.
Yeah, no, I should have had him in. I agree. I should have had him in.
Manders had him on once and said, we're going to be back. It was a very fun show to listen to.
I doubt that it was Manders, but go on.
Well, no, right. It wasn't Manders' fault. It was. No, as a matter of fact, I don't listen to Manders much, but that was a good one. I think Chad Dehne had him eaten out of his hand.
Will he have a chance?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure when you talk to your son next, next election cycle, we're gonna get him in here. I want to talk to him
because
sure.
I'm thinking the vote stealers are figuring, wait a minute, we've been stealing votes from the wrong people all these years.
Well, and I can see where that eventually the lights come on. There's an epiphany of sorts where people go, hey, maybe I should change horses in the middle of the stream.
An epiphany, yeah.
Now, you like that word. I'm using 50-cent words for you today.
One of my favorites.
Okay.
It goes along with ubiquitous.
I know ubiquitous, and I know I also like, you like erudite.
Erudite, yeah.
Erudite, yes. I know that you're a fan of that word as well. Okay, you're a former pilot.
Don't forget mendacious.
Okay.
And perfidious. And downright nasty.
There you go. You are a former pilot, a decorated pilot with the Air Force. You're wearing your Air Force hat now. You took 16 points against Notre Dame this coming weekend, didn't you? He's thinking, yes.
I got 16. I got 16, right.
All right.
Air Force.
The air show, the tragedy that happened with the air show. Certainly, that probably rung a bell with you, or struck a nerve with you. Maybe better spoken. You should, and I'm going to come off the back of that with street vibrations. Should events like that continue? I understand that we're talking about two completely opposite things. One is clearly an accident. Right. One is an intentional act. Nobody's going to mix those two up. Do you see a different future for either one? So we'll just ask it as a kind of combined question.
Well, just as a quick lead-in, as this quote-unquote decorated pilot you call me with a perfect military flying record through many, many, many years, they have all those air race committees out there, and I don't even really want to be on it, but I've never even been invited to be on it.
Be nice to be asked.
Can you imagine that? It just makes my point again. You say, well, how come everybody ostracized you? I don't exactly know why. You can see I'm a pretty nice guy, just 160-pound senior citizen. But anyway, relative to and I don't go to the air races anymore. I don't get invited to them. Not that I deserve anything more, but a lot of those poobahs get invited out there with 10 free tickets. Did you get any free tickets?
Yeah, but I was giving them away.
There. Okay. So anyway,
so it wasn't really for me. It was for listeners.
Right. But anyway, that's you got my point. But anyway, I don't have any hardship against them. But as far as that crash. Panama, it was just one of those things that happened. Why were you driving? Why was your daughter driving down the road and a car comes through a red light and kills her or maims her? Just one of those things. And you say, well, there was I don't know, 20 square miles of land out there where this plane could have come down because he was just in the hands of God or the devil, whoever at that moment, saying, this is where I'm going to put that plane.
This is time.
That was just not just his time, but their time too.
Their time as well. The 11 victims, absolutely.
So it had to hit a spot about as big as this room we're sitting in, and it just happened to hit there. It could have been even worse, but it could have been a lot nicer if it had been.
Imagine you've seen some crashes like that in your day, huh?
Only at the air races.
Easy now.
I know.
Easy now. Okay, so what about street vibrations?
We need to change the name first of all.
Well, that's right. I read you right this the other day.
Street putt-putts.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
How about street tootling? Because the word vibrations churns up your adrenaline, gets you going right, and then you hear the rumbling of. It's almost like they're forcing you to come in here with not only noisy mufflers, illegal mufflers I call them, and I've kind of toned down. I think my hearing's gone bad through the years, so I'm not.
So street vibrations doesn't bother you the more the years
not
go
as
on.
much as it used to. I just got other fish to fry, but they ought to change the name if nothing else. It just conjures up nastiness. Street vibrations. How about street putt-putts? That would be nice. Or if they can't do that, and I said bring in the ice cream parlor convention to replace them.
Nice, because the choral thing went so well.
That only, I don't know. How bad did that go? I don't know.
But did you go?
No.
Me neither.
But I don't go to street vibration. Well, I don't go to street
But
vibration.
you're invited in as it goes by you.
Street vibration,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
They know where I live.
Let's say that you decide to make another run, Sam, and you decide to run for mayor or commissioner or city council, whatever the case may be. What are like the top 3 things you do? What would be your priorities once you got into office? I'm curious.
Well, the first thing I would do would ask for a recount. And then
You won. You still ask for a recount. You're just not going to ever be happy, are you?
That's an old joke.
I like that.
But it's the first thing I would do is I would take a pay cut, a big pay cut. I would cut my salary. Do you know how much the mayor makes? And I'm not just the mayor, but city council, county commission.
I have no. I'm guessing about $60,000.
About 90,000, maybe even 100,000. And they should make our bureaucrats should not make any more than the average citizen in the community or in the nation if it's nationwide. They shouldn't make any more than the average citizen in the community. And I don't know.
Yeah, but as far as city government, I mean, McNeely was what, $250 with 4 months of vacation, and McNeely had the sweetest deal ever.
He was hired by these
right.
people
Okay, but he's still a city employee. He had the sweetest deal ever.
That's what they do, Panama. They get their $100,000 bureaucratic or quote unquote elected salary. Then they go out and hire somebody else and pay him more. So you say, Mr. Mayor, you're making too much money. Well, not really. The city manager's making more than me. And so
okay, so you take a pay cut. So if you were making $90,000, say you make $100,000, what would Sam Dehne take?
I'd say $50,000 would be.
You'd cut it in half.
Yeah, cut it in half.
No matter what it was, you would cut the salary in half if you were elected.
Yes.
Will your son do the same? Do you think?
I can't speak for him. I know he would take a pay cut. I can't say how much.
Okay, what's the next thing you do?
That was on his
website?
No, here's how the media said one thing about him time before last, actually, and he said he was going to take a 25% pay cut, and the media, Reno Gazette-Journal, right there said Dehne says that if he's elected, he's going to demand all the city employees take 25% pay cuts. That's how they related over to that.
That's not what he said, though?
No, absolutely not. He was going to maybe use it as a bully pulpit to maybe get them. No, he didn't even bring that up. He just says he was going to take a 25% pay cut.
What else would you do? Second thing. You got 3 things you got to do. You take a pay cut, then what? You got to get to the business of the city eventually.
I would, this is no order of priority. If you gave me 20 things, I could do it more easily.
Okay.
So there's other things besides this. I would take the Air Force Board, which is all appointed.
Airport Board.
Airport Board,
okay.
Excuse me, Airport Board. Thank you. The Airport Board, which is all appointed people. 4 from Reno, 2 from Sparks, 2 from Washoe, and then 1 more. 9 people, and amongst them all, there is not even 1/2 of an aviation expert on there. So I would take them and I would reevaluate, at least from the Reno part of it, and reevaluate and put some people on there with aviation experience. Because the airport, by the way, also they oversee STED and air races and all that stuff.
Oh, they'll be part of the lawsuit, yes.
And that accident, there was nothing that could have been done about it. I don't think
I agree.
could have been done. But there's still the fact that they've got these aviation amateurs running the operation from the Reno airport side. It's just not the way you should do things. You should get some aviation experts down there.
What about people getting back to work? Because when I went through the election cycle, I sat here and talked to virtually everybody running from all parties, all sides, and they all had job creation. That's my biggest thing, job creation. Yeah, it hasn't really happened. And I don't care who it was. It hasn't happened. What are your thoughts on that?
That's almost, and it's a gigantic issue, duh. But I think that my taking a pay cut and maybe using that as a bully pulpit for other people to take pay cuts, city employees to take pay cuts. They're already taking some, but I think they should actually be more in this day and age with thousands of people laid off out there with no jobs at all. And I think maybe an attitude would develop where people who were working would work for a little bit less, and the people, the poobahs who were making money with their corporate welfare operations would be able to spread the money out better, hire some more people, and that sort of thing, and not be quite so ingrained into profits. That's what it's all about. Corporate profits. It always has to be more than the year before. And I have to admit, I do some stock dabbling, and that's what makes stocks go. Increased profits. Used to be anyway. I don't know what's going on these days. But is that 3?
That's 3. Listen, you've certainly got my attention. We're almost out of time, but Sam, I want to thank you for coming in here and spending some time with us. I'm hoping that like in the next few months we can do this again, because I'm not afraid of you.
If you're still here.
Well, again, yes, that's kind of a crapshoot, my friend. I'm not sure if you know what'll happen. But would you be willing to come in again in the near future and we can do this again?
Yeah, if you want, I'll even bring my guitar.
Let's give that some thought.
That was too long of a pause.
I'm kidding. No, absolutely.
I was going to give you one of my albums.
I want one of the new ones. Give me one of the new ones because I have the old one.
Is this the one you have?
No.
Oh.
I have the Yankees band. What are they called?
Two Wild Yankees Band.
Two Wild Yankees Band. But it's an older CD. Like this is really. I don't know where I even got this from you. I've had it for years and years,
show it to me now.
And oddly enough, I knew exactly where it was. After I talked to you yesterday, I go, I know exactly what that CD is. My wife goes, how do you know that? I go, it's right here. Actually, it's in the garage on top of the desk right there. I don't know why. But Sam Dehne, thanks for being here today.
Well, I give these out to people just haphazardly at the coffee shops.
Okay, maybe that's where I got one. Maybe I ran into you at the city council and you gave me one.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I remember that. I've got 28 albums now. I've even got one related to the new Pan Am show. Yeah. Got one Cowgirl.
You better give that one away quick before that show's canceled. Okay.
No, it's a personal thing anyway.
I know it's personal for you. Sam Dehne.
No, I don't miss Pan Am one iota. I miss the paycheck, but being an airline pilot, as they said, they're trying to say they don't get paid enough. But it's sort of it's hard for me to say that. Kind of a tough job. Okay, I was going to take a break, but I got one last question as it relates to the air crash, because you can answer this for me maybe like no other can. One of the things that came up with the air crash at the air show was the fact that commercial pilots have a mandatory 65-year-old retirement age. Should we let 78-year-old pilots fly planes 500 miles an hour near people? I think you were talking about 74, by the way, on that. If that's
74, yes. I'm sorry, Jimmy Leeward,
which is old. It's even
still older than 65.
It's even older than me. Yeah.
In 30 seconds, your thoughts on that?
I would. God.
Is it an issue?
There wouldn't be any pilots out there then.
Okay, so it is an issue. You agree. Sam, today it's been a lot of fun talking to you,
But they need to have the ultimate physical.
Okay.
Ultimate, and that doesn't prove anything, everything, but it's ultimate physical.
Okay, cool. Sam, best of health to you. We'll see you soon, man. Keep up the good work. And I get a salute from the man. All right, we're taking a break. We'll be back. It's 1270 The Buzz.
Reno. What's the